On this episode of the Star Trek Universe podcast, we are talking the latest Star Trek short trek, The Escape Artist, right after this.
Welcome to the Star Trek Universe podcast. My name's Matthew Carroll.
And I am David C. Robertson. And if I had any money, I'd be sipping gibbers on a beach somewhere.
Isn't it Jippers? That was Jippers.
It's gibbers, actually.
Really? All right. Thought it was.
I may have said jippers.
No, I thought it was Jippers in the show. He said it so many times. I could have sworn it was Jippers.
I don't know what gibbers.
I don't know what a gibber or a jipper is.
Yeah.
Is this the best short trek or just another really good short trek? What are your thoughts?
I think...
Oh, we're going to spoil it, by the way. This is about the new short trek, Escape Artist, featuring Harry Mudd. Go watch it. I liked it a lot. What are your thoughts, Dave?
I really think that this was probably... I'm hesitant to say that it's my favorite or what I think is the best. It might be my favorite, but I'm not sure it's the best, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does. Because I think that I think that this and Calypso were very effective at what they were trying to do.
I think Calypso, The Brightest Star, and this were all super, super effective. I think the only really weak one was Runaway.
Right. I think that Brightest Star was fine. It did what it was trying to do, but I didn't... It was not, to me, operating at nearly as high a level. Like, this is operating at a high comedy level. And Calypso is operating at a really high, like, sci-fi, almost Twilight Zone-esque sort of level, exploring AI. I love that. And Brightest Star, to me, is a backstory. It feels to me like just a little backstory that I may or may not need, you know?
Right.
It didn't like, nothing in that episode made me feel too much about that character. Like, it's not a standalone thing, and Runaway isn't either. So I think these short treks are really interesting, especially when they're doing this whole, like, just showing us a slice of the universe that has nothing to do with the crew.
Well, I would say The Escape Artist is not just a little slice. I think it has roots in the original series.
Sure.
And it, calls forth questions about where the short trek takes place, what time in the timeline, what point.
Well, we know it's after the Discovery episode, we assume.
Sure.
Because he's penetrated a space whale.
One count of penetrating a space whale? Kind of had to be there.
I'm going to say this was the silliest thing Star Trek's ever done.
Oh, no. No.
Like, on purpose.
I don't think so.
On purpose.
Nah, I still don't think so.
All right, well, that's why I'm stating it. You tell me why I'm wrong. Please, what is sillier than a room full of Harry Mudds saying, if I had any money, I'd be sipping gibbers on a beach somewhere?
I would call forth the episode that they are directly referencing, I'm Mudd, from the original series, is sillier.
All right.
Where Mudd is like the king of an android planet, and the crew decides to take them down by using logic flaws and just
I don't
basically
know
being nonsensical and making the robots' heads blow up.
I don't know if that's as silly on purpose.
Oh, I think it's absolutely silly on purpose.
I think it's silly. It's fun. It's funny, but it's also kind of just a sci-fi trope. Like I don't know. You'd have to find me a scene in there where they're being as silly and as fun as this scene. Like, this is that scene. Oh, man. That scene. Like, I'm not saying they weren't being funny on purpose ever, but a lot of the humor of the original series that we laugh at now is like, oh, that's such a silly thing they're doing, and they don't know it. I think.
Well, I think if you were to go back and watch that episode, you would agree with me.
All right. It's been a long time, so I can't say that I can't say that I'm not. I'm curious.
And one of the things about the Mudd episodes is that they're very dark material, but all played for laughs in such a way that it's like it seems very whimsical and very very jokey and silly. But Mudd is just such a bastard. He's such a terrible, terrible person.
Well, I look forward to checking those out again. It's been a long time. Mm-hmm. I'm still, we're in the middle of this Discovery rewatch, and we're not going to be able to do it for a few more weeks. But once we get into a regular rotation with Discovery, and maybe even when Discovery goes on break, I'm looking forward to going back and watching old episodes again.
Sure.
But I have no idea how to tackle it. I'm still very confused. Like, maybe we pick a character and go explore some of his bigger episodes. Maybe we, try to do our favorite episodes. Maybe we try to do some of the people's least favorite episodes. I don't know. It'll be very interesting to try to navigate all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest way is just go from the beginning.
Yeah, let's go from the beginning, and it'll take us till we're in our 50s to finish it.
That's okay.
What
else we got going on?
Yeah, but I don't think that's the most effective way of this podcast, to start from the beginning and do one a week.
I don't know, man.
Be 50 years old. I think being more theme-based would be fun. And hopefully fill in all the gaps as we go. All right. So, more about this episode. I just loved it. I don't even know that I have I'm sure you probably have more to say, because I feel like there's probably a lot of references I didn't even get in this episode to the other Mudd episodes. Like, I noticed he was wearing in that final scene, he was wearing like something similar to the original Mudd costume.
Mm-hmm. Or one of them was, yeah.
Yeah, one of the 6 or 7 androids in there was, which I don't know what other references were in there. Anything you noticed, or?
Well, in his ship, we saw some. We saw the helmet from the Discovery episode, and some Klingon batless and various alien accoutrements. I was happy to see the Tellarite. We don't get a whole lot of Tellarites, but they originate from Journey to Babel, or Babel, however you want to say it.
Was that similar to the original look?
They have evolved over time. Like one of the things I really loved about Enterprise was that they updated but kept very, very close to the Tellarite look from Journey. And here it took me a minute to realize it was a Tellarite. But
okay.
I was still like, he still had like the pig nose and all. So
yeah, I'm looking at original series Tellarite right now, and that's pretty similar.
Yeah,
it's not so far that couldn't be the same. I just thought this episode was a blast. It seemed like it obviously seemed like it was different time periods or whatever, and I guess maybe it was like one thing that made no sense. Was Mudd seemed like he went and told a story from one of the other androids' experiences, which didn't make sense. But I guess that's just an assumption we made. There's a lot of you assume a lot when watching this episode. Obviously, you're assuming it's the same person in all these experiences. Such a great reveal that it's just Mudd selling himself.
I assume he collects all of the memories from the androids he has.
Sure, but how does he retrieve those androids? I guess is the question.
Maybe he doesn't have to retrieve them. Maybe they're all like linked in, like the Borg, like a neural net. Maybe across all androids.
Maybe this is going to be the canon way that the Borg start.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And dumb, but amazing.
So dumb, and so amazing. Like Mudd, if Mudd's planet or whatever gets like shipped out to the Delta Quadrant somehow.
Yeah, but if you think about it though, he would have to have some way of like collecting the memories and having all of them have the same memories, so that there are no like real contradictions. So everyone remembers everything.
Well, no, I don't think that. I think that he has to keep them updated. Each new one he sells has to be updated with all the stuff that he's done. And we don't know that he's been doing this long. This could just be like the scam of the month. And that's the thing,
sure.
Like the Telluride is obviously surprised, and the ship captain says, "We've been getting these things like a lot." And it seems to me like he's heading around this sector selling off fake Mudds to all the people he's wronged, which is so good. It's so good.
Well, there are just so many questions here. I feel like because they do. I am expecting them to at least stay within some confines of canon as far as story goes, because they keep claiming it's in canon.
Sure.
So, is this after Mudd? Or it was Mudd telling a lie in Mudd, which I wouldn't put it past him.
I don't know. You have to. So what happened in Mudd that you're saying conflicts?
Okay, well, he says that he like drifted upon the planet that was full of androids, and then he's been like stuck there because they need someone. He's basically imprisoned there. Like, it seems like he's the king, but he's really imprisoned there, and he basically sent what's his face?
It would fit his character to me that he created a bunch of androids, they enslaved him, and of course he would lie that they were just here, I didn't do this. Well, I didn't put myself in this situation.
In Mudd, the androids were made by a race of beings called the Makers from the Andromeda Galaxy.
Okay.
And then their sun went nova and they died out, and there were just a few left. And that's a storyline I've actually always wanted to see explored a little more in the Star Trek universe. But I don't know. Like, there's a great bit in Mudd where Kirk says to Mudd, "I thought I left you in jail," and Harry goes, "And thereby hangs a tale." And that's all we got of it.
He's like the Star Trek universe's Joker in that way. Like, didn't Batman lock him up like 2 episodes ago?
So, like, we don't know. We just don't know where this sits. If this is after Mudd and he like somehow found it, because Kirk literally leaves, not to spoil Mudd for you.
It's been a long time,
but like Harry has like all of these like hot men and women androids on this planet, except for one who is his wife Stella, who just yells and screams at him all the time. And he can like scream at her and tell her to shut up, and she will. And he's like, "I finally get the last word." And at the end of the episode, Kirk thinks it's fitting to replace all of the androids with like 500 replicas of his wife Stella, who he has no control over, and they're all just yelling at him.
Oh gosh, what? That doesn't like that's funny, but it doesn't seem like a real solution to the problem. Oh goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the Mudd episode soon. I don't really know what else to say about this episode except I just really enjoyed it.
Oh man, I liked it so much. I loved when he tells the Orion slave woman, which I guess
Orion stuff was great.
Yeah, your skin is luxuriously green, like a delectable lime.
Oh man, I loved it. I loved the sort of callback to Enterprise, actually, with the Orion slave girl being the boss.
Yes,
I loved that. Loved it.
Yes,
so much.
I very much enjoyed that.
Just that's some deep canon, fun that they're having. And I love the dumb Orion man. He's like, I did it for. I was almost done tricking him. My favorite line in the whole thing. Oh gosh, this one I wrote down. Go into quotes. I'm going to quotes. I don't know if you wrote quotes for this.
I did.
My favorite quote was, I didn't write the first part, but he's talking about the Duke. He's like, he was a Duke. It's hardly regicide. What are we attempting to murder now? Accuracy?
Yes.
So good.
And, yeah, it was a really funny episode. It was really fantastic. It was witty. It was directed by Rainn Wilson.
Oh, was it? I was about to ask who directed it because I wonder who wrote it. I wonder
who wrote it.
Yeah,
Mike McMahan, the guy that's doing the Lower Decks series, the animated comedy.
Man, that makes me excited.
Right?
Because it's like love. It's love. It loves canon. This episode loves canon. Even like Enterprise canon. Even like it's not just like, hey, let's talk about the thing that's popular.
Yeah.
It loves canon. It's hilarious, but it's still like realistic enough that it stays within the universe. Man, that makes me excited for Lower Decks.
And it felt like I did think that it felt very. And this was before I actually like paid attention to who wrote it. The Tellarite being mad that he stole his, what was it, a Cudgel or something? Cudgel.
Yes.
That just sounds like such a Rick and Morty thing.
Yeah. It would have been stored in ass, but yes. Rick and Morty. I miss you.
Me too.
Can't wait for Rick and Morty to come back. And I can't wait for Lower Decks now more than ever. I didn't realize this was written by the Lower Decks guy. That's awesome. And Rainn Wilson, I thought that Rainn Wilson might have had more to do with it creatively just because it was so tailor-made for him. Mm-hmm. So well done. I love that Rainn Wilson's getting so into being Mudd and into this project enough that he is he directed this. That's just super fun.
Yeah, and he does say that he thinks that they've been seeing the real Harry Mudd throughout. Like, this isn't an indication that like the Harry Mudd on the original series or on the previous Discovery episodes were androids.
Right. I would assume. Well, that's what he said. I think it's pretty clear that that's true because that captain at the end tells the Tellarite, he says, "This is just meant to distract you long enough for him to get away." Like, I don't think these replicants are super good. The facade probably breaks down pretty quickly. Obviously, he like rips off his arm pretty easily at the end.
He shot his arm off.
Oh, I thought he ripped it off.
I thought he shot it off.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I thought he ripped it, but
maybe we'll see.
It seems weird that a captain would let him fire a phaser or a disruptor right in the halls of the ship.
That's a good point.
So, but either way, he said that, and it also like. You would like in the original series when they find that planet. I'm assuming they can tell the others are androids, but obviously they'd be able to tell if Mudd was also an android, but maybe not. Who knows?
Well, they literally had like a crewman who was running around who's an android who was sent by Mudd to bring the Enterprise to him. So like that android takes over the entire ship.
Neat. It's neat
and makes them go there.
It's neat that Mudd is like I love the idea that this might be after that planet. Like this is the furthest future Mudd we've seen. I kind of like that. That like he gets through, like he takes the idea of having so many Stellas and he goes, hey, I could work with that. And he just creates a bunch of him. He's like, what could I deal with? What wouldn't annoy me to have a bunch of? More me couldn't hurt. Here you go, Mudd. Thank you, Mudd.
My wife thought, like, when at the very end of this thing, when the guy says, refers to them as monstrosities, she thought he said mudstrosities. And we had to, like, back it up to see if he said it. He didn't. He said monstrosities.
No, yeah. Actually, I think I actually heard that too, which is funny. I thought that for a second. That's really funny. Or at least I thought he said Mudd something, and then I read the
caption.
The caption, it said monstrosities. I don't think I heard mudstrosities, but I heard Mudd, so maybe he said it like Mudd or something. All right. So, anything else about this episode? You got any quotes? Any other quotes?
I don't think so. I wish I did. I wish I'd written down all of that. His little soliloquy about the guy's sister, about Crit's sister.
Oh yeah.
Something about like the tusks like gleaming in the moonlight, the whiskers on his lips or something. I don't know. That was really funny.
This whole episode is full of funny stuff. Really, really great. Everything Rainn Wilson says, it's funny. But the overall, it's a really good little gag. It's a good heist thing. I love it. I love the plot and the execution on this are awesome.
Here's the thing I liked, and I didn't write it down for some reason, but his little tirade about the Federation harkens back to his tirade in his first appearance on Discovery.
It was his second. Or no, was it his first? Yeah, you're right.
It was his first when he's in prison with Lorca.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it totally does. I think that's Mudd's. I think Mudd feels that way.
Yeah, it does seem genuine.
Yeah. And I think all the Mudds, like most of what they said, are things that Mudd would say, and I think that's why it works. all those Mudds are just, going around being muddy.
Yeah. I did, for whatever reason, I did laugh at that one bit where he's like, I'm part of the resistance. And the Tellarite just leans forward as if intrigued and just says, I wasn't aware of one. He's like, yes, because we're a secret resistance.
Yeah. The Tellarite delivered some lines really well in there, too. I don't know who played the Tellarite, but he was delivering his lines really pitch perfect against Rainn Wilson, which is not easy to do.
It's not. He gave him a run for his money, and he should be proud. I wish I'd paid attention to who did that. I can look it up quickly if you like.
Sure.
It's a guy named Harry Judge.
Huh. Any relation to Mike Judge, I wonder?
Oh, I don't know.
The humor is sort of similar.
Oh, he already showed up, it looks like, in as the Mirror Universe.
Oh, Tellarite.
Version of himself.
Yeah. In the episode we are about to watch, I forget what it's called. The one where they have they meet the council of rebels.
No. You know what? He was Admiral Gorch, and then he was the Mirror Universe version of the Tellarite Gorch, but that is different than Crit, the character that he is in this episode.
Okay.
In this short trek.
Okay, so he's just played two Tellarites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Neat.
I mean, I assume he's done other things.
Sure.
But
maybe.
He's a relatively good-looking guy. I doubt he just showed up in Hollywood and they were like, I know.
Pig costume. It's really funny.
Yeah, I don't know him from anything, but yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's about it for the short trek. Let us know what you thought of The Escape Artist. I think it was, between this and Calypso, to me, are showing not only how good these short treks could be, but it's also showing the varied tones you can have in the Star Trek universe and still feel consistent.
I agree. And by the way, this is the first Latinum reference in Discovery.
The earliest chronological Latinum reference?
I don't know about that, but it is the earliest. It's the first in Discovery's production.
They could have mentioned Latinum in Enterprise. I doubt it, though.
I don't remember. They did have Ferengi in an episode of Enterprise.
Oh, then they probably did. They probably mentioned Latinum then.
I'd have to go back and watch it. I don't know.
I really want to know more about. I feel like in Star Trek we've been so focused on the Federation and there's so much going on, and we get an occasional episode that focuses on the Klingons or the Vulcans or the Romulans, but it just seems like there's this whole underground layer of stuff going on that is just super fun, and it feels very Star Warsy to me. Mm-hmm. When it just feels like the cantina scene.
I can see that.
Little Han Solo-y. I mean, even just the Tellarite himself just feels a little like the things I like about Star Wars, the fun of Star Wars, kind of infused into this, while still remaining tonally consistent, which is important.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back with more Discovery Rewatch. And we're only a couple weeks away from Discovery Season 2. Who's in? Yep. Who's ready to check this out? Let's get into some Star Trek.
That was my excited noise.
Oh, I thought it was a meh. It's like,
no, it was a meh. It was a meh.
I started this podcast with designs of getting into some Star Trek, man.
Yep. Getting dick deep.
Oh, no. All right, guys. Well, thanks for checking it out. We'll be back soon. If I had money, I'd be sipping gibbers on a beach somewhere.
Live long and prosper.
To reach out to us, hit us up at StarTrekUcast.com, at StarTrekUcast on Twitter, Star Trek Universe Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for us there, or send us a message at StarTrekUcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv. And if you want to hear more from Matthew Carroll, that's me, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, or go listen to my music at MatthewCarrollmusic.com or anywhere you get music.